Hello and welcome back everyone, my name is Fake Fairy Tale and we're back in the Sewers Recreation series, and today I will likely give you a somewhat shorter video because I'm currently in quite a busy week. I have a lot going on outside of YouTube, unfortunately, so I want to just quickly dive in, and I wanted to focus on the two rooms over here as opposed to the grime and shading that I mentioned before, because well, with the assets that you place down, you feel some more progress and it looks better, and we'll shade this entire section I think at some point afterwards when the other rooms are finished as well. So let's dive right in then, shall we? I actually just listened to the previous video in the series, and oh lord, has the audio gotten much better. Damn, that was bad. I needed to definitely tweak a few things, and unfortunately with the help of Moog I managed to set everything up to a point that it sounds, well, reasonable, and it's probably not perfect yet, but we're getting somewhere. So apologies for the horrible audio. It took me a while to get things settled, but we're here now. So what we wanted to make from this room over here, the top one, this is definitely going to be a guard room that won't contain much. I think I will just place in a chest somewhere, a table, and maybe a weapon rack, and I think actually with that you could call it finished already. So let's just do exactly that, and we'll grab a table for ourselves. Something that looks not very high end. I have to turn off the shadows, of course, and we'll pick something more or less broken. We use quite a lot of ashen wood in the right room in the jail. So for this one, I would like to go with something that's darker. I believe it's called dark wood. So let's pick something from this list over here. I think this will do just fine. I can't believe actually how old these tables are already, because I believe these have been in the set for quite a long time. We'll place it at an offset, but just ever so slightly. And what would make sense, I think we'll just place it right there. We'll take one set of chairs and we'll pick a different color wood for that, to make sure that there's enough variety. And these can actually be on layer 1. And we'll grab another one. Let's grab the same style, but then a different color. Yeah, that matches. We'll send the table right up to layer 2. And then I want some kind of bench on the other side. We can make that a very simple one, like this. Turn off the grid. I think this works because the chair also has a slightly different color, which I like. Turn it a little bit to the side. Perfect. And we'll grab ourselves a chest. The chest is something that I see like they can put some belongings in there. We have some chests over here as well, but maybe it's something for the guards specifically, some valuables. So place that one in the corner right there, and then a weapon rack. And I think we can use a rather empty one. Yeah, that'll suit just fine. Then we're going to need a lantern. And for that, I'll take a wall-mounted lantern as well. Don't want to grab the exact same one. And we'll place a lantern on top of the chest as well. One that isn't mounted. Maybe looks a bit newer. There we go. Although that wouldn't make much sense, right? We'll place it on top of the table. Place it on layer 300. There we are. And we'll take a wall-mounted one, and that we place on top of here. And then we do need something for the guards to do while they sit here, right? Because otherwise they'll get bored. So we're going to need some cards. And we can do it with the newer ones here. I believe these are White Foxworks assets. Yeah, let's go in for a bit of detail here. And let's play some poker. This has been a while, so please don't laugh at me if I did this wrong. So we'll have 2 open. There we are. And 2 kings. Sure. And then we have one player who's got basically nothing. Give him a 3 and a 7. A 6. Sure. Then we've got one player who has, let's say 3 kings. I believe they used to have a name. Can't remember. There we are. And something that could work. Now he'd probably go with something a bit higher here. Let's say jack. And we have another player with practically nothing. Says he, and then proceeds to give him a ace. All right, and actually, I think I want to have them all open. So we have a let's give him a full house, shall we? We do need the other one though. And a 9, yeah, sure. Like so. And then we just need a stack of random cards on the side. And king, queen, sorry. And another red one. Bit of an offset. All right, and then we're going to place some cups there as well. Because there's a tavern right around the corner, so they don't have to go thirsty. With some orange ale. And some wine. And some water. Okay. That's not too shabby, right? And let's grab, I want something in the corners. I think we're just gonna go for some webs. I think we can actually add that to the next room on the right here as well, to the jail cell. Because if anything, they're not gonna keep this very clean. So I'll grab some of that and we'll place that along the back here as well. Do want some of the bigger ones. There. That's maybe a bit too big. And let's grab another one, shall we? Like so. And we proceed to do the same thing on this side. There. Just a bit of detailing that we have here and there. And now with that out of the way, I think we can do a bit of the grime that I was talking about. So we'll grab ourselves some blood assets. And I actually, in the meanwhile, updated to the most recent version of Dungeondraft because there's going to be a video about the modding coming out quite soon. Unfortunately, I actually wanted to record that video today, but cartography assets was down. So I need to be patient and we'll record that video somewhere soon, and I'll probably release that. I think it will be on the schedule for next week. Now, it seems that they've split up the assets somewhat. Well, it took me a moment to find something, but here we are. It seems that they have removed the blood from the blood tag, so I'm not entirely sure where the assets have gone that I usually use to create some grime and dirt. But we're going to try our best with these assets here. So we have some grunge assets, and I think if we do more or less the same thing here, we'll just turn down the alpha value. Don't want it to be quite dark, and it's not gonna be good. Well, it's not gonna be going on top of the tables, so let's go underneath. And I'm just gonna add that subtly throughout the room. And we'll just try and create. I think the alpha value can be a bit higher than what I put it on. Now I'm just gonna click through the room, make sure that we have some proper dirt and grime going everywhere. All right, and that's perfect. I've chosen for a bit of a red hue around here because of the torture and all the things that probably will be going on over there. We've added some stains in here as well, some wine stains, and I placed some of the grime on top of most of the objects because I don't think it will be likely things will stay clean in here. And with that, I do think we have kind of a nice spread of grunge going on. And then I would like to add in some footsteps there, and that is something that you can do with the blood that we still have here by Forgotten Adventures. I'll just search for the right size that works. I'll take sort of a longer track, and that we're going to give some kind of a brown color. I'd like to... Yeah, that works. That looks good. Turn down the alpha value some more, and I usually just place that down in the areas where you expect a lot of people to walk through. So definitely here from the table to the tools, from the cages back and forth, from the cages towards... I should put that on layer 1 actually. Towards the table and back again. And I'll just add in sufficient of these to create the idea that there's a lot of movement going on in here. And it's used very often as well, so this will likely be a path. Make sure to spread it out a little bit, that there's plenty of random steps to be seen everywhere. And you don't have to... it doesn't have to be very obvious that there are steps. I mean, they're just smudges of dirt. So we can put that along this side as well. And well, we'll proceed outside with this in a different video. But just to make sure that we don't forget, let's add in some steps here and there as well. And that's quite grimy, right? It looks good. All right, then I think this room is finished for me for now, and we'll just proceed onwards to the next one. And this is going to be a storage room, so let's remove that, and we're going to create some multi-layered shelves that we can put in here. And let's see what would make sense. Maybe because this is going to be the chief's bedroom, so this would mainly be like his personal office, his bedroom, with a secret escape exit that we have to mark with some markings on the ground as well. So a party could find that based on actually looking at the map. So would it make sense to have a storage room in here? Because we will have plenty of food over here, and a storage room up there with maybe some weaponry. Yeah, I think I'm going to make this some sort of a treasury. So I think we can remove the treasure over here on this side. I'm not going to implement that over there. And we're just going to keep it in this room over here. So it will look more or less like a storage room, but we'll add in some more chests. And we're going to replace this door with something that's a bit more solid. Or at least with some kind of lock on this side. So that's obviously that you don't enter that very easily. And maybe just a few different supplies in here as well. So for the overall design, let's first put the shelves down. And place those in here so that we have an idea of what that's going to look like. Oh, I think these are new actually. I can't remember seeing these before. And that's wonderful because that means that we can create like very long ones. That was always something that I struggled with. That one has the perfect size. And we'll place the top layer on layer 3, and then we'll place another layer on layer 2. And we'll offset that by a little bit just to create an extra layer of depth. Give the idea that there's multiple shelves that you can stack things upon. And although I do not entirely like this, because it wouldn't make sense for the pillars on the edge to be pointing away from, to move out away from the actual shelves above. So we're going to do that differently. Let's remove that one. I'll place down a few crates. And we're going to need a pallet underneath there as well, because you wouldn't set them on the ground, right? Maybe one with a metal edge around it. We'll make that one even smaller. On layer 3. And then place that on top. There we have our pallet that can go on layer 1. And then we're going to need some chests and maybe a barrel. And if we do a smaller barrel, then like that would be something that a leader of the Thieves Guild could have on his room. And I think this will look quite nice if we add in some sacks of grain and some other things in there. So what would we need? Maybe, well, let's start with a sack of sorts. Make sure that that kind of leans to against those crates over there. And maybe we can add one more. That'll be down here in the shelf. Then I would like to see... there we have some door add-ons, and that's something that we can use here. Bar brackets. So what if you'd add something that they could use to, well, either it just gives the impression that the door is reinforced at the very least. So these ones, I'll have them point out a little bit from the door. Then we're going to add in a metal bar in there. And we'll have that underneath, like so. And then we're going to need a lock, like that one. I'll place it slightly offset in the corner, as if it's lodged against the wooden post and maybe the stone as well. And let's not forget to place a lock on the chests as well. Make sure they're not forgotten. And then let's skip through what we have here. Maybe something else that we can use. And we definitely can add in some treasure in here. So on layer 3, let's have just maybe a candelabra peek out from underneath there. And place one all the way atop over here. And I think we have a few other items in here that could work. Some ingots. Things that could be of value. Like bronze isn't too bad. Do have to put that on layer 200 though, because then we can stack them. And let's add in 1 silver maybe? Or just gray in general, you can decide yourself what it is. And I don't want to make it too obvious that there's like a lot of wealth in here, because that would also limit the dungeon master that uses the map to stick in all the treasure, of course, that we have in here as well. Otherwise, you're bound to get some discussion with your party about, oh, but I see this laying in here. Why isn't there? Can there please be some more treasure? They always want the treasure. So I want to be a bit careful with that as well. Not too much, so that it can be used by many other people. You can always put in some extra treasure in one of the chests, of course. So with that there, maybe we can add in some of these kits. I think they could look really cool in here. Because it would definitely be some kind of burglar kit. Thieves tools, sure, that works, And just have that spread out over there. Ah yes, and we can't resist a strong box, of course, but we'll take a closed one, because it's going to fit the theme of this room quite well. I'll place it all the way on top over here. And maybe add in another sack or 2. It's more brownish. Shove that down to layer 2. Oh, and I think we can use some of these to spice up the room as well. This was an idea that I initially had to implement in the hallways as well, and that's something I still want to do, because we are in the sewers over here, so it's kind of makes sense to me that we have some pipes running through places. And I would think it would be neat if you would be able to see some of the pipes still peeking out of walls and holes, so that you see that it's not intended to be used in the way that it is currently used by the Thieves Guild. So I wanted to add in some kind of pipes going different places. And I think this would be a good opportunity to maybe add something in here. The question is, however, which one's that going to be? And how is that going to be designed? Because those are pipes rusty. I think we're going to stick with rusty. And we'll have to make these quite small. Don't really have any kind of set already. But we can have like one be quite high up. I don't want them to be too big. These ones are quite thick. And I don't want them to just be straight. So let me just quickly have a look into this. So that would definitely work. And we'll grab that pipe, continue it a bit further out, maybe twice, but just this long one. We'll have that pass through into the wall from here, like so. And I am going to need a pipe that goes in there. And let's pretend like it moves out of the wall from here and into the next room. And I think we're going to need one to continue all the way through to the other side. I think we could have a peek out right there and just create a puddle. But that's not where I want to leave it at just yet. I do think it would be great to just add in a few of other elements in here as well. So let's say halfway through over here, we can add something in here and maybe just want something on top of here as well. Just to make sure that it looks kind of interesting, then we're going to place this quite low, as if there's a pipe going further down. And let's have, we can have that move. That one's kind of wild, so let's make it smaller and we'll take some kind of a turn here. I saw a very soft bend that could definitely work with what we need. Make sure that makes kind of sense where it pops out. And we'll have this one stick out on the other side. That's going to go straight down into the floor. And then I'm going to need some thin stretch to bridge the gap over here. We'll add in a very thin one here as well, just somewhere all the way down that's going behind the cabinets. It's going to go behind the crates. And we'll have it pop out on the other side as well, above, and then disappear into the floor. And we're going to need to do that for this one as well. We'll make it very thin, as if it just moves into the wall, doesn't pop out the other side behind the crate. That went well. Now let's see if we can find a little piece to fill in the open gap there. And then we're going to add in some detailing as well. Yes, that's lovely. And now we're going to add some of these ribbons to kind of hide away the fact that it doesn't look perfect. So we'll scale it up ever so slightly. And we'll just hide that away. And I think the rest we can just do like so, and we'll add it in as a sort of detailing along the pipes. That could be some kind of reinforced section, and we'll turn it around and have that be incorporated on this side as well. And then add in some other elements like this valve that you can open up. That should go probably on layer 2, and it can be even somewhat smaller. And we'll add that in on 2 places over here. That one could be ever so slightly bigger. And I don't think we're going to do anything with steam of the sorts, at least not in this room. We could add in like this giant old boiler somewhere, or tank, but that's not something that we're going to do right here, right now. And I do think we should add in a few different things in this room as well, but we don't have to do that necessarily right now. But with those pipes in here as well, I do think I want to add in something on top over here, just as a finishing touch. I think a scale would look kind of good here. That is something that somebody who wants to check some valuables and maybe some kind of metals and ores, check for their density and their weight, would have. So let's place that here as well. And I think with that, I would like to call it quits for now. I do think, I feel like there's something that should be added in here. Oh, well, maybe a few bottles of wine, something that is a bit more exclusive than the stuff that they drink elsewhere. So I'll grab just a few different colors, and let's see what we have available to us over here. Those don't look too bad at all, and I do want maybe some bottles upright somewhere. I will hide that away a little bit behind those barrels, like so. That would definitely add on to the room, and that's something you should have there, I think. All right, with that, I would like to call it quits for now. We did make some nice progress again. I do think we could more or less call these 3 rooms finished. I might record one video where we shade them and just go over that entire process. And I'm also curious to hear what you guys have to say about the progress that we're making. And how you would like to see this series continue in the future, because the initial idea was to go just room by room and just fill them in like I do right now. Though I do feel like I might be repeating myself quite often when doing these room designs. I don't really mind it because it's quite easy for me to make. I don't have to think about it too much. I don't have to script anything. So it's a very pleasant way of recording, but I'm also interested to hear if you guys think it's interesting to watch. And if you don't, then I'm very curious to read your comments and see your suggestions, because I'm open for anything. So I would like to thank you guys for watching. If you have enjoyed the video, please hit that like, favorite and subscribe button. I asked for this in the previous video as well, because it helps with the algorithm, and I actually noticed that that video performed quite well in comparison to previous videos. It was my 3rd best, if I recall correctly. So it really does help to get my videos up there and make it easier to be found by other people. So thank you guys for taking a moment of your time to do that with the previous video, and I really appreciate that. And if you want to support the channel even more, I do have a Patreon page where I have some of my maps that I've made in the past that are published there, some additional versions over the free versions that are already out there. And I also have some tokens made by a friend of mine as well, and we're going to release some new ones. I think later this week. He created 2 new ones, and I've already seen them, and they look great. They're very cool, so I can't wait for you guys to see them as well. And with that, there's only one more thing to say, and that's I hope to see you again in the next video.